Young Joseph, we're live.
Oh, hey. Hi, Cliff.
Well, how the hell are you, Joe?
I'm good. I've been flying all day, so I haven't even tasted a tequila yet. How about you?
Neither have I, but I do have some up on the shelf behind me. Hey,
What
look
you
at that.
got? What you got?
I got one of my mini bottles of Cuervo.
Nice.
I'm just going to take a swig.
Take a swig.
The stuff of champions. Okay. So Donald Trump, you may have heard of him, Joe. You wrote a very interesting post. Well, first of all, welcome to Tequila Talk, everybody. We should say that.
Yeah.
I'm Cliff Schechter.
Welcome to Tequila Talk.
That's the much more famous and cooler Joe Walsh.
No.
We do this every week to just hash things out. Generally fun conversations. It was set up as sort of a relaxed show about politics. Who could have thought that could go wrong? And almost at the end of the week on Thursday, gets you through Friday. We've had more serious things to talk about lately, and I guess this will be one of them. But we'll start with tequila, folks. It's cheaper than therapy, as we always say on this show.
Amen.
It sure is.
And everybody needs to know, you and I don't do like a lot of planning and pre-program work and rehearsals. We don't do any of that.
I think these go better when we don't. I think the first couple we did, and yet we should go where the wind.
We jump into shit. Every week we should go to whatever you and I need to get off of our chests. We try to do it with a twinkle in our eye. You do that better than I do. Because these are tough fucking times.
They really are. There's no other way to put it. I mean, they are, and I look in all directions. I see fascists to the right of me and anti-Semites to the left. So I don't know.
Tell me if you agree with this, Cliff. Right now, currently, my former party is full-on authoritarian and fascist.
Correct.
And right now, the Democratic Party is neither socialist nor communist. They're not yet. There's some energy in that direction, in the socialist direction, but nobody can tell me that the Democratic Party is socialist right now.
I mean, people could tell you that they're Republicans, they'd be lying. No, it's not. And there's some hints of socialism. Now, for me, you're more conservative than me. I agree with certain hints of socialism. I feel like, not completely. I'm a capitalist. I believe a lot in small businesses, very well-regulated capitalism. I also believe, for example, our healthcare system has massively failed in every direction. And the hospitals have become almost like a cartel, and doctors overcharge and insurance companies way overcharge, and everybody's in on it. And I do think we need a public option, Medicare for all, something of that nature. So that's not the stuff that bothers me. That's coming from the far left. It's certain elements of bigotry, of misogyny, or whatever that's coming from the far left that are my big problem.
But the only point I was making, Cliff, to start us is, and I get all of that, and I'm concerned with where my new party is going. It's not just the anti-Semitism and the bigotry. It is kind of the anti-American, the anti-capitalism.
Yeah.
But on balance, we have a current threat right now called fascism.
Yes.
The guy in the White House is a fascist. The whole party is. And so sometimes I get bothered by people who try to both sides this. The Democratic Party's not a threat yet.
No, I couldn't agree more. Like, the Democratic Party has a weak element of whatever percent it is in the center that has refused to take on Trump and failed us, and has a few folks, and there really are a few at the moment because most of them have not won or run, but a few on the far extreme left who have, one of them dropped out of a race because he was accused of rape, and another one celebrated October 7th, and another one thinks black imperialism is holding us all down. These are all things that should be nowhere near the Democratic Party, but if we're being honest, there's a half dozen to a dozen of them. And it's versus the Republican Party, which is literally absolutely controlled. And you can see it in the fact that Todd Blanche, the fact that he actually they had to postpone those hearings is amazing. And yet how did that even have to be a thing? He's the president's personal lawyer who has broken the law. Katie Fang sued him because he broke the law and has not shared the Epstein files like he's required to by the law that the guy he was a lawyer for and still is, Donald Trump, signed that law. And yet we weren't even sure that Tillis and Cornyn, two people whose careers Trump has destroyed, were going to do what they just did and stand up to him, which is insane. That just tells you how weak the Republican Party is.
Yeah, and by the way, they deserve no applause.
No.
Tillis and Cornyn, this is not, oh, they finally saw the light. Fuck all of that. It's way too late, way too little, way too late.
Yep.
And they haven't even for certain, Cliff, said that they wouldn't vote for him.
Correct. They may, for all we know, they're holding out because they're leaving and Trump, pushed them out of Congress for Trump to land them a lobbying gig at the right place. And if he does, they'll be like, all right, where's, I get it. It's the Judiciary Committee now, and if they've spoken out and I'm wrong, please tell me I am wrong at least 36.8% of the time, probably much more. But, where is what's his face? And I don't know why his name. Oh, Cassidy, Louisiana, whose career was destroyed and actually had the courage to vote and convict Trump way back when. Where's Lisa Murkowski speaking out about this, who voted to convict Trump? Those are two people that voted when they voted to convict Donald Trump of sedition. You'd think that might imply they would no longer support his personal lawyer who suppressed the Epstein files to be our attorney general. Like, that should be just straightforward. Those four people we just named should be off. And that would mean at best they would have 49 votes. Actually, fewer. They have 51 in there right now because two people are either dead and brain dead or whatever it is. So they have 47 votes. Even if Fetterman switches over, they'd only have 48. Like, it should be a done deal if they can't get the votes. But the fact that it is even still up in the air just tells you how weak and pathetic the Republican Party has become.
Yeah, I agree, Cliff. I don't buy this whole. It seems like almost every show I've gone on in the last couple of weeks, I'm always asked, like, oh, are the Republicans finally beginning to break from Trump? Fuck that.
No.
Until 30 Republican senators say I'm not voting for Todd Blanche, no way, no how, then I'll start to listen to you. That ain't this.
Right. Because what? Thune, we're going to be proud of him now because he had the courage to say Trump can come down here and get the votes himself or whatever it was he said. Wow, big man.
And understand, you're right. And understand Thune, all Thune cares about is the filibuster. He and his Republican members, all they want to do is protect the filibuster. They would pass the SAVE Act in a heartbeat if they could.
They would. It wouldn't bother them the slightest that millions of women would lose their right to vote. They would probably enjoy that, actually. So it's sad.
Because, and Cliff, some people are beginning to get a little bothered by you and I.
Yeah.
And the criticism goes along the lines of, Joe, you and Cliff, I get it. I'm with you guys, but oh my God, all you're doing is criticizing Democrats and criticizing the left. Can we just all keep all of our fire, trained on Trump and the Republicans? And Cliff, I want to hear your take on this because my take is, and I'm a new Democrat, the Democrats now are my family. That's the side I'm on. I'm much more interested in lovingly criticizing my new party. What good does it do me to criticize Trump and the Republicans? They're not going to listen to me anymore. I want the Democrats to improve. I want the Democrats to win.
Right. So that's the first thing, right? Is you're doing it in a way that you're trying to support Democrats. And maybe it's not even the first thing. Maybe it's the first, second, and third thing. Like, it's the most important thing. That's where I'm coming from on this too. It's sort of the, what, you're not supposed to say anything about your party? Look, I sat there in 2016 as people attacked me constantly, and I don't care, but because I supported Hillary over Bernie and I didn't return fire. And I feel like a lot of this now is the fruit of the poison tree. This is the guy who pushed Tulsi Gabbard. That worked out great. This is the guy that pushed John Fetterman. Worked out great. Does he vet anybody? I don't know. Plattner, I'm just saying, if we hadn't said the things we said and did the things we did, Plattner would still be the nominee, and we would be about to lose that Maine seat. Instead, Troy Jackson comes in and he's up 3 points before he ever even campaigns. So yeah, when our criticizing folks on the left ends up stopping a cancer from spreading in our party, which is hate for various groups of people, and it helps promote more candidates who are progressive, who'll get rid of Chuck Schumer as a leader, but also don't attack other groups in the Democratic Party, then, when we get past that point, which is when the primaries are over, is when we unite and we go forward. And you'll hear me saying all sorts of positive things about Democrats, but there's still a Michigan primary coming up, a Wisconsin one, and others. And I want the people to win. I mean, I'm sorry. It looks like El Sayed, if the polls are correct, and I have no reason to doubt them, is going to win and win handily and be the nominee. And also, if it looks like the polls are correct, if he is the nominee, he's going to lose handily to Mike Rogers, and we are going to give away a seat that should be ours. Haley Stevens is up 1 or 2 points, 2 points, I think it is, in the poll they did, her versus Rogers, and he is down 9. I mean, I don't know what people want when you say, you're going to defund the police. People take you seriously when you won't ever answer a question and say that Israel has a right to exist.
And that number is going to get worse, Cliff. That number right now, 9, it's not a true matchup yet. If El Sayed is the nominee, I think that number is going to go up. You know Michigan better than I do. The black vote, the Jewish vote, I just don't see them coming out for him.
He's had a lot of trouble, as have a lot of DSA candidates, among the core groups in the Democratic Party, which, frankly, the 2 most loyal groups have been Jews and blacks. I would throw also single women into that.
Yeah.
And so I do. I think it's going to be bad, is what I think is going to happen. And I don't know if there's any way to prevent it at this point.
But you know what's tricky, Cliff, is like I never supported Plattner. You got to a point where you couldn't support him, and I so respected that. So I guess push comes to shove. Let's assume El Sayed is the nominee. I'm asking myself this question. Is he someone I could support? And I'm going to say no, because I couldn't support anyone who would campaign with Hassan Piker.
Hassan Piker, some of these folks, what's the best way to put this? Because I want to be honest about it. It bothers me a hell of a lot that anyone would get anywhere near that guy. I mean, people just think about the anti-Semitic stuff. The guy's got framed picture of an attack on the World Trade Center on the wall behind him. I was there that day, and I don't want to get started because how angry that makes me. We lost a family friend in the World Trade Center, and that makes me feel like saying some things that I'll regret, so I won't. He's clearly he's anti-Semitic, the misogynistic things he said. So that bothers me a hell of a lot. But there are things El Sayed could do and say that if I'm not voting Michigan anyhow, but it can win me over. But if he will not answer a simple question, that just like Norway has a right to exist for Norwegians, and France has a right to exist for the French, that Israel has a right to exist as it was created by the UN and law in 1948 as a state. If he won't answer that question and keeps doing things like when there's an attack on a synagogue in West Bloomfield Hills or whatever it is, says it's because of our support for Israel, you're going to lose me quickly. He's going to have to decide if he's a nominee, if he wants the support of people like me or not, because if he doesn't, then he won't get it.
It's going to be fascinating to see, if he is the nominee, how he tries to pivot.
Yeah.
Will he try?
I don't know, but he better, because again, like I've always said, I will vote for virtually any Democrat over any Republican. I have one deal breaker. If you hate me and my family for who we are, I don't know why I would care what jersey you're wearing. Like whether it's red or blue. I need to be reassured that some of his stuff was campaign rhetoric, some of his stuff in the past, and that he's somebody who can and will stand up for the Jewish community. If I don't believe that, considering 74% of the religious-based attacks in the U.S. are against Jews, and we're 2% of the population, I'm not feeling. It's the worst right now. It's been, I think, it's since 1994. Which, by the way, if you know history, you'll know that that's when the Oklahoma City bombing happened by a nutty far-right Christian and, Christian nationalist, and some of the things are going on with militias and all of that. That's where we are. We're the most anti-Semitic attacks in 32 years, something like that. I'm sorry if I don't understand people who are supposed to be on my side who don't understand why that would be an issue to me, why that would bother me.
Look, Cliff, all of us, everybody listening to us, we all have a red line. We all have red lines. We all want the Republicans to lose control of the House and the Senate. All of us do.
But you can't be mainstreaming anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Like I can't in any case, I do think that El-Sayed has to be smart enough to pivot and to say some of the right things that will reassure people like me. But I guess, we're going to see what again, I know disagree on some economic stuff. I don't know his whole economic platform, but certainly on Medicare for all, I agree with him. It's just, if I'm excluded, if it's Medicare for all, except for the Jews who I hate, because I'm not, again, I'm being facetious, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right. Like we need to have a optimistic, tolerant, progressive view where everybody is part of this, invited to the table, Jews and Muslims and Christians and white and black and Latino and man, woman, and, whatever. And if that's not the case, that's just not a group of people. If they're people that are bigoted by who you are or who you love, these are not people I want to be. I don't want to be around that.
That's the whole fucking point. Take anti-Semitism out of it. No Democrat would embrace a racist, period. Anti-Semitism is racism. It's bigotry.
It is.
There's no difference between the two. If you hate blacks, you're a racist. If you hate Jews, you're an anti-Semite. You're bigots. You're both bigots. And it bothers me that the only bigotry that is kind of trendy and popular in the Democratic Party is bigotry against Jews.
Yeah, among young folks in general right now, it is. That's a whole other conversation about TikTok and where people are getting their information from. And but I do want to pivot myself here, because we need to remind ourselves when we're having these conversations and deciding who we're going to vote for and can vote for. One of the reasons why I would vote for El-Sayed and wouldn't need that much to get him at least to reassure me is because something you wrote, ironically enough, Joe, about all the people Trump has put in place to attack our elections right now. And you were right. And you made a list there, and it was kind of a scary group of Gorgons, if you will, who are in the key positions right now. And the fact that they're even thinking about adding Todd Blanche to that list, that's probably why Trump needs that too, just to close the loop. He's got Kash Patel there, right? Bill Pulte, who is amazing at real estate, but does not know the first fucking thing about foreign policy or about security or about, it's a joke that he's over at DNI. Again, I'm sure he creates a great brochure if you want to get yourself, if you're looking to get yourself a nice timeshare, he's your guy. If you're looking to maybe protect the U.S. from attacks, not so much. And he'll do whatever Trump wants him to do. And then he's got Radcliffe at the CIA.
And that Jay Clayton got approved this week as DNI, and Pulte, who's been acting DNI, Trump loves because he's like a real prick of a loyalist. He's going to be a free agent in all of these departments. And then you've got our 17-year-old Secretary of Defense, who's a total loyalist. He's got 100% loyalists now in all of these positions. He's going to try to fuck with the midterms. He'll put troops on the streets. And Mark Wayne Mullen running DHS.
Mark Wayne Mullen.
Wayne Mullen.
Yeah, don't forget the Wayne part. It's Mark Wayne. The only guy with what was his? He's got a 2-year associate's degree in being a dickhead. I can't even remember what it's in, but it's not anything related to Homeland Security. I mean, I almost preferred the lady that shot the puppy. I mean, you know, I don't, by the way, she was horrible too. I just wanted to bring up how crazy they all are. That like we're talking about this guy, and he may be worse than someone that literally was angry at her puppy named Cricket, who wouldn't hunt properly and took the puppy to the fire pit or whatever and shot it in the face. This guy may be worse than that.
All of these people are part now of Trump's efforts to do whatever he can to cancel or disrupt the midterms.
Yeah.
And when he puts troops on the streets, when he positions ICE at certain polling places, when he goes after secretaries of elections officials in certain states, and they come to the federal government, he's got all his loyalists in place who will do nothing to defend what the states are doing and do everything to try to, what Trump wants, Cliff, is some sort of federal takeover of the elections process.
Yes, that's exactly what he wants. He's tried to sort of to ask nicely and bribe to get it. He's tried to threaten, as in holding, not giving Homeland Security funds, which is insane. Again, not giving Homeland Security funds to people because they won't turn over their election machinery to you is right away an impeachable offense. And it's not even in the top 100 that this guy has committed.
Is it as impeachable, Cliff, as denying federal disaster relief to states that didn't vote for him?
I think it's roughly on the same plane. Yeah. You know, but actually funding and inspiring an attack against your own government would seem to be higher. Being a rapist and sexual assaulter would seem to be higher. Maybe. Whoa, we lost you, Joe.
I'm back. You're getting excited.
You know, like there are no, you know, the vast open, you know, gaping hole of corruption that money just like a black hole that money just flies through into the Trump's pockets from crypto and whatever secrets he's sold and everything else. I mean, it is kind of hard to keep up with all of the impeachable.
What would you, I was on a show earlier today and somebody asked me, the Democrats take back the House, they're going to conduct oversight finally, they're going to haul members of the administration in front of them under oath, blah, blah, blah. What would be, there's such a list. Like what, if you were a Democratic House, what would you want to fucking investigate first?
My God. On this list, I think you have to go with.
I said Trump's obscene public corruption. I'd start with, but
it's one of two things, right? For me, it's that, or it's the things that are most damaging and threatening to us as a republic. So to me, it's either that because of the danger that poses. The other one would be the machinery of an obvious conspiracy of attacks on our elections.
Yeah.
And all of that, because that also is that dangerous. Those two things, as much as there's 50,000 other things that he needs to be looked at, you know, investigated for. I mean, those two go to the very heart of having a democracy. So I think they have to be looked at first, is the way I would see it. But
I mean, just think about what you just said, Cliff. The current president of the United States is at war against our elections process.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to remind myself sometimes, you know, you just almost have to be like, I can't actually believe this is going on. But
which makes me think, am I sometimes just so stupidly naive saying, oh, I can't support that Democrat because he's too lefty and blah, blah, blah. This guy he's at war right now against our very democracy again.
Right. Which is why I told you I won't say that about any Democrat unless they're a Democrat who pretty openly makes it clear to me that they would be fine with whatever horrible thing should befall me and my family because of our backgrounds. I don't care what party you're in then, because then if I'm fighting fascism to protect my country and to protect my family, then how am I protecting my country and family if there's a Democrat who hates everything about me just as much, who's as authoritarian in how they view minority groups? I don't. So I need to that at the very least, but I can accept one who's far to the left of me on all sorts of other things as long as they're inclusive. Absolutely, I would vote for almost any Democrat, as I said, versus almost any Republican. I
still get, Cliff, and you probably do too. I still get, whenever I go on a show or I talk and I say that Donald Trump is going to try to cancel or really fuck up the midterms. Or I'll say something like Donald Trump may not leave the White House in 28. And I will still get some people who roll their eyes at me. And maybe they're right. But I just believe, like,
right.
After the 2020 election, if you still like aren't prepared for what this guy might do, then fuck you. Then you're dropping the ball.
Roll their eyes at you, Joe. You should roll your eyes at them and maybe kick them in the something. I mean, honestly, especially if it's a guy, maybe I'll leave that thought there. But I mean, roll their eyes at you. Did they not see January 20th? Have they not seen illegal bombings of Venezuela and Iran, where these guys do double taps, or it's like some innocent civilians that happen to be on a fucking sailboat or in the water, and they go back again to murder them? Which is why, of course, Hegseth also needs to be to be in The Hague. I mean, we can go on. Alex Peretti and what's her name? The other
Renee Good,
and like a couple more. The Latino guy that they murdered. I mean, they've murdered people in our own streets. Like, I mean, what is it that would say to you he wouldn't do this? Like, we found out enough behind his just mammoth efforts already to corrupt our elections. Everything from that first time around trying to pressure Zelensky into doing his dirty work for the first time he was impeached, to get dirt on Hunter Biden, to get dirt on Joe Biden, to, like, we've seen all of that. We know about all the hotel meetings he had, right? Where they were planning for months, what he was going to do in 2020. We know from Jack Smith's filing and case that he never had to take forward that Trump's, through various super PACs and other places, helped fund these people coming to DC. I mean, I don't understand that he called. He had Lindsey Graham, who will have forever be in shame because of this, calling certain senators and other people, Giuliani calling certain senators and telling them not to certify the votes. I mean, I don't understand, how much of this shit do we need to see before these assholes rolling their eyes at you will believe it? And now he's got all this power, and he's got all these loyalists there. I mean, if any one of those assholes wants to make a bet, let's go for it right now. Because I'm telling you, it will happen. It's not a question of if it will, it's where and how we handle it. He will have at least show up places. I almost guarantee you the National Guard will come out in various places. What else will he do? Shut down certain polling places. People have to wait there for hours. Who knows? And he'll cut power to some of them. I don't know every plan. I know that we're in partnership right now at Blue Ant Media with Defiance.org, Miles Taylor and Sanders Schultz, like brilliant, awesome guys who are trying to organize, local state attorneys general and, who are in purple, well, Democrats in red states, but in purple and blue states for the most part, and local prosecutors, DAs who are in many cities in red states. Because they have the right to arrest anybody attacking a local election. The federal government has no purview there, and they're working with them. And that's one way I know we're fighting this, is that there have been a couple of these prosecutors, like Krasner in Philadelphia, who said, if any of these assholes come in here, I don't care who they are. I don't care if they're feds. They commit one act to try to interfere with an election, I will arrest them. More of that.
I always go back to the 9/11 Commission. Their report after the terrorist attack about a year out, and they called it a failure of imagination.
Yes.
We just couldn't imagine that people would get behind the wheel of an airplane and fly it into a building. That's what we've got with Trump, is we've never really imagined the bad he'll do. And it stuns me that after he tried to overthrow an American election, there are still people out there who are failing to imagine all he will do to fuck with this election.
Right.
And Cliff, just look at the context. About a year and 3 months ago, Trump started the whole, talk about fucking with the midterms. He started the whole mid-decade redistricting shit.
That's right. And that was about
cheating.
fucking with,
That's cheating.
Of course it is.
He started it.
Yep. That
by
is,
the
the
way,
SAVE
Cliff,
Act is, the withholding funds is, the hand over your voter rolls, like all that stuff. And there's a ton more of it. And I just want to say quickly, you gave the perfect comparison. Are you here? Are you getting like feedback from me over there? It sounds like you are. I don't know if you are, Joe.
I'm not getting feedback. Are
Okay,
you?
good. Okay. But you made a perfect comparison, because I never forget, as somebody, my actual like masters, all that stuff I did was international affairs, and some of it was security policy. And I remember sitting there sort of when they were like, oh, we couldn't have imagined 9/11 and that kind of thing. And I'm like, all the examples that were out there 2 years, I want to say 3 years previously,
Yeah.
one of these Algerian terrorist groups
Yeah.
was taking over a plane, and they were stopped, but they had plans right there to crash it into the Eiffel Tower. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was their plan. They were going to crash it into the Eiffel Tower. I'm trying to think of a couple of the other examples. Like, there had been examples of this. Hell, even what's his face, who writes the books about Jack Ryan, thought it up to put it in a book where they crash into the Capitol.
Our intelligence people did not imagine that would happen.
Right. So what I'm saying is, we had fictional examples. We had real life examples of people who planned to crash planes into buildings, and they couldn't imagine it. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because it feels exactly like right now. Your comparison was perfect. Yeah. We've seen a guy had people show up at the Capitol, break windows, smear feces on the wall, attack police officers to try to stop an election from being certified. We've seen a guy meet with various people, at a hotel to try to plan to undermine an election, and then after it was over and he lost, have them go on a tour to different state legislatures and places to try to get them to overturn the rightful results of this election and try to not accept it. And he still never accepted that he lost. So again, to say, well, I can't foresee Trump doing this. Well, what the fuck is wrong with you? He's done it already. It's right there. Like, it's not difficult to foresee. You don't need imagination. You need memory.
You don't, Cliff. And two other quick points. Dave Wiseman, the numbers guy, roll call, I think he's with, he said that net, because of the mid-decade redistricting, Republicans are going to lose 12 less seats. So whereas Democrats might have picked up 30, they're now going to pick up whatever, 18.
Yeah, right.
And because it's a net victory, he's saying, for Republicans.
Right. That bullshit right-wing Supreme Court in Virginia that undid the results there, because we would have gained 5 or 6 seats there. And then I think, where else did it happen where they undid it? I think our Supreme Court, because they're okay with Republicans doing it, undid the Louisiana and the Louisiana and Alabama districts, 1 or 2 in the South. Like, we had mitigated most of the damage with Virginia and 1 or 2 southern states, to the point of 7 or 8 of the 12 seats. Yeah, and they undid that.
And the point I'm making is, I'll tell you what, Mr. Partner, I guarantee you that if the Democrats take back the House by a small margin, no fucking way will Mike Johnson, under orders from Donald Trump, seat that new Congress.
Nope.
I'm fucking telling you. I'm telling you.
I mean, you couldn't be more right. Again, the failure again, as you're saying, of imagination. Like, well, it's always been done that way.
That won't happen, Joe.
Right. It's always been done that way. I'm sure that this person that illegally used an Emergency Powers Act to enact tariffs because he was in a bad mood and he's a fucking baby. And I'm sure the guy that has illegally used, illegally attacked other countries, illegally taken away people's 6th, 7th, 8th, however many other First Amendments, and allowed ICE to attack them, lock them up with no charges, murder them in some cases, all sorts of things that we probably don't even know from your alligator Alcatrazes that we're only going to find out within a couple years if we actually ever investigate this. Like, what is it that you think this person won't do? Again, he tried to get the Senate not to certify. Why would he not have his little fucking poodle, Mike Johnson, refuse to seat people? Of course he's going to do that. Like, it's the most obvious thing in the world.
It's what our mutual friend, you mentioned Miles Taylor a minute ago. I think Miles came up with the phrase a few months ago, we got to make it too big to rig.
Yep.
Like the victory has to be so overwhelming. But what we know is, even if the victory is overwhelming, unlike Hungary, unlike Orban, who, because the victory was so big, he's smarter than Trump. Trump's an idiot. Orban said, I'm going to live to fight another day. So Orban conceded. If that election in Hungary were close, he wouldn't have conceded.
No.
Trump will not concede or accept the result, even if it's overwhelming.
Right. So imagine, I don't know that we can do the kinds of numbers, sadly, which says a lot about our country at this point, but their turnout was something ludicrous.
Yeah.
It was, and they won 70-30. I don't think we're going to win by that large a margin. I don't think it's possible because there's too many ways our democracy stops that. But even if we win by 57-43 or something like that, which should be more than enough to destroy them, you're right. He will not. He will try his best to undo it, because I could see us coming close to winning 60-40. I could see that, but he's not going to accept that.
What's your my political brain? Where's your confidence level on the Senate right now overall?
It's not where it was before. Maine and Michigan are complicating it a lot, though. It was good to see that candidate running there's an independent running in Montana.
Yeah.
And the Trump was trying to talk up the Democrat who is in the race, but everybody's ignoring for the most part. I found that really interesting to talk up the Democrat, which tells me they've got numbers where they're worried about the independent there. And once you wonder how Dan Osborne, who only lost by 6 points to Fisher, is doing in Nebraska running as an independent. I don't think this one is humanly possible, but I hope I'm wrong. Maybe the Democrat dropped out in Idaho, so it's just the independent versus the Republican, but that's Idaho.
Yeah.
But, Ohio, Iowa, Texas, even Florida, which, again, we thought we lost for a while, but we've got people running either tied or ahead. Every poll has shown Cooper up by either double digits or 9 or 8 points in North Carolina. I think that one, if we don't win that one, they have thoroughly cheated. That's that Tillis seat, Cooper is going to win. That's done.
And Georgia, Ossoff seems to be well
ahead. 13 points or something. That's done too. The question is, how many votes can we win? Because again, even 51, if we don't have at least 52 votes, which means we need to win at least net 5. Then I don't trust it, because I think Fetterman is ready to switch. I think they've got,
even though Cliff, I agree with you about Fetterman, but he came out this week pretty strongly yesterday and said, I'm not becoming a Republican.
Okay, I hope that's true. I wanted to make it. I've seen too much Kristen Sinema in my life.
Yeah,
and before her, Ben Nelson.
Yeah,
I need to make it needs to be Fetterman proof. For it to be but
okay, then you need 52.
Yep. And we're up now solidly in Ohio and Iowa. These are places we didn't expect to be. Texas, which again, Texas is Texas. I just said I'm not going to try. But to me, if there's, I know we're going to lose some of them, but if we're up by a good amount in enough places, we just need 1 or 2 of those that we're like, oh yeah, that never happens to happen. And suddenly we have an amazing night, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Nebraska, Montana, Texas, Florida. If we won 2 of those 4, 1 of those 4 even, in addition to holding, and if we can hold Maine, which it looks like we can, Michigan to be determined, and we can win Iowa, and we can win Ohio, and we've won North Carolina, I think, and whatever. Well, then we're getting there to where we're about at 5 votes,
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is I'm not going to have faith in any single one of those places where we don't normally win.
Well, that's why this race in Michigan is really crucial.
It is.
Yeah.
I hope that either Stevens pulls it out in the primary, or I hope if El-Sayed wins, he better pivot to the center and run. I mean, not the center, like the mushy center, but pivot on certain issues to places that are more inclusive of everyone. And then he's got then he'll have a great shot, or at least a much better shot I don't know. We'll have to see what the numbers look like after that. But again, the fact that we've got opportunities in about 4 or 5 places that no one thought humanly possible, and in 1 or 2 of them we're actually winning. Again, if we win 1 or 2 of those 5, 6 seats that we should, by most counts, have no shot at, then we just need to win the other ones that are the normal ones, and we should be there.
But I think you're right, Cliff. The theme of this show is do not have a failure of imagination, and we need to be prepared for a guy like Fetterman becoming a Republican.
Right. Because that's a failure of imagination. People being shocked that Kirsten Sinema, switched parties or at least became an independent was a failure of imagination, or that Joe Manchin. Yeah. What's he doing now? He's like trying to start a third party. He's such a fucking clown, that guy. I mean, he just has to feel relevant. He's such a narcissist. It's not enough.
Go away.
Right.
Higher. Go play golf.
He's like approaching 80.
Go play golf.
Go back to West Virginia. Keep fucking ripping mountains apart for your coal and shut the fuck up already. Nobody wants to hear from you.
God, Cliff.
Where do these people come from, man? You've been there. Like, I've been there too, but I never served in office there.
So I served not for a super long time, but Cliff, it's fucking addictive. The power. You've got young men and young women who follow you around and march at your command, and you think you are a god.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And it goes to their heads and lobby. Everybody's schmoozing you and wanting to give you money and calling you congressman, senator. Hey, congressman. It's hard to walk away from.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, because you watch some of these people, and it's like they'll disappear for a little bit, but they have to find a way to like get back in the spotlight. Like, I always like the people. Let me give you a great example. I got to meet this guy once who was a fucking legend. I don't know if you ever got to meet him or not, but the late and obviously former senator from Kentucky, Wendell Ford.
Oh, yeah.
Who was just an elder statesman. He was a Democrat. He was a moderate Democrat from Kentucky back when you could be that in Kentucky. And, he was the one guy that McConnell always avoided and would not take on, because Wendell Ford was a badass. And McConnell knew that that's a fight he could lose. So he always went after to take out other Democrats and whatever, but he avoided Wendell Ford. And Wendell Ford, like, it's almost like it's like the movie Gladiator, or like the story of Cincinnatus, or, whatever. Like, he finished his service. He went back to Kentucky to his farm, worked on his farm. You could go by, drive, in that part of Kentucky, see him on his farm farming. Didn't want any part of the fucking DC life afterwards. He was done.
I love that.
Yep. Another one I can think of right now. I mean, he does a podcast on politics. It's very popular. I've been on it. You maybe have been on it, but the Grounded podcast with John Tester.
Oh,
another one. Went back to Montana, and people were trying to get him to run again in this race once there was going to be an open seat. He's like, no fucking way. He's like, I'm done. I met him for the first time at the swamp event that we went to, that those guys threw, and he'll show you his 3 missing fingers and say he still has that meat combine because it cuts meat really good. And you're like, this is a guy that probably could be a lobbyist and doing whatever. Nope. Back to the family farm. He does a podcast. He does it from Montana most of the time. I mean, these are the ones,
that's what our founders envisioned.
Yeah, that's what they wanted, not like the opposite of that. Like, that's what
guys dying in office.
Right. Like, I mean, you can't, at least in Lindsey Graham's case, he wasn't old enough where you could be like, okay, you were there forever. But I like to point out to people, because it's worth pointing out again and again and again and again, Chuck Grassley is still there.
He's 96.
Chuck Grassley is fucking 96. Chuck Grassley was elected in 1980 to the U.S. Senate. I think he might have gone to the House in 76.
He was in the House before.
Yes. And then I think he was a state House. Dude has been in office for 60 to 70 years, and he's 96. And here's a nice little, anybody ever asks you, it won't last that much longer, I assume, unless Grassley has some sort of new form of life that we're not aware of. But He right now is the only living and senator currently serving who voted against a Martin Luther King Day holiday back in '83. Back when he'd been there a whole 3 years, he voted against the Martin Luther King Day holiday, and he's still there. And worse than that, because one of these things we should reform, by the way, that one of the many things, which is, our order operation when it comes to who takes over after who. Right now, it's almost like they're like, it's the Senate pro tem. So it's like you want the longest serving senator who's the oldest motherfucker in the room. So that's Grassley. Grassley after J.D. Vance and Mike Johnson, it's Chuck Grassley. We would have a 97-year-old president. Who thought that was a good idea? Like, I don't even know what to say. So yeah.
I will say this about Grassley, Cliff. He's 96. He could run circles around our current 80-year-old president when it comes to what's up here.
No doubt. No doubt.
Like, like Bernie. Bernie's 83 or 4. Bernie's still sharp as a fucking tack.
He seems really sharp. Yeah, absolutely. And there's others that fall into that too. But I feel like I've said for a while now, we've got, look, I'm sorry, this is actuarial charts. I'm not discriminating against anybody of any age, whatever. But here, one of the things, I don't know, it's a leftover. Whenever we pass the rule here in Ohio, Supreme Court judges here have to retire at 75.
Yeah.
I think that's a really fair age to say it's 10 years beyond our retirement age. You still, in this day and age, the average age that people live to is older than that. And we've got, obviously had medical improvements and this and that. I think 75 is a fair time to say, done. You have to leave. Then you don't end up like Robert Byrd or Strom Thurmond or one of these people being rolled in, like drooling on themselves. They have no idea where they are, and somebody else is pushing a button for them. I mean, I drool on myself sometimes, but what I do isn't nearly as important,
And by the way, and maybe you disagree with me, Cliff. Yeah. Last thing I'll bring up, I'm not opposed to a 74-year-old farmer from Iowa deciding for the first time, I'm going to run for Congress and serve a few years. Like, to me, it's the longevity that bothers me.
Right. But it is for me too. I kind of feel like you're accomplishing two things with that 75-year-old age. One is making sure people don't stay there beyond where they have the mental capacity to do it.
Yeah.
But two, considering most people, especially in the Senate, don't get there at least until they're in their 40s.
Yeah.
You're ensuring that somebody doesn't spend the amount of time that Chuck Grassley has spent.
Bingo.
Right. So, I mean, at longest, they're there 4 or 5 terms, which is really already too long. But if you're running for your 7th term or whatever McConnell ran for last time, come on. I mean, there's a point. I'm sorry.
Cliff,
have you seen the fold up McConnell?
Cliff?
Yeah.
Don't get mad at me at what I'm about to do.
Uh-oh.
No, but this is like weirdly 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, you're going to run to the bathroom again, aren't you?
I'm about to have a major attack of the shits. Like, I'm about to go in my pants. This is 2 weeks in a row with you that I am like.
So, first of all, your level of honesty with an audience you don't know is kind of stunning and impressive.
No, I never tell a lie. I literally am seconds away from going to my pants. I'm having
first of all, I'm really impressed by that.
I got the runs.
Second of all, that you feel so comfortable to share it with me. I feel really special. Like I get to find out.
I'm not going to make anything up, and I don't want to run out on you, but I got to run out on you.
I'm going to start getting a little suspicious if you have the shits every time you're on with me.
No,
I've watched you on with your other folks, Xander and whoever. I don't see you getting the shits with them.
No, it must be this time of the day on a Thursday. What else were you going to cover? And can you bring us home? Because I don't want to.
I can bring us home. I was just going to show last thing I'll say, and then you go run to your runs.
Hurry up.
Go run. If you've seen the one version of the video where Elaine Chao has Mitch McConnell and then she folds him up into a box and leaves, that's my favorite. That's the best out there right now.
I love it. That's awesome. Right. Thank you, brother.
Joe, it is always a pleasure.
Bring us home.
I will. Joe Walsh, everybody. I don't know what to say. I wasn't aware we were going to be covering his bowel movements again for the second week in a row. I feel like that may be something he should take care of. He might need to work on that. Let me see if I can find this. This would be the only thing worth showing you is if I can find this video, but I don't know if I can. It's in my timeline somewhere. Oh, look at that. Cute picture of Amy Hogarth with her baby. I don't know if you guys know Amy. She used to be on Full Frontal with Samantha Bee. In any case, let me try to find it. But, right now, I'll see if I can find this thing in 2 seconds. If I can't, then we won't worry about it because, it really, I'm not going to make you sit here and go through all of this. So as I look, where are you, video? And can I share you? All right. We may be finding it. We may be finding it. We may be finding it. We may not have found it. Wait, we may have it. We may not have it. It may be in here. Holy crap. Almost. I should say holy crap after what Joe just did. Jesus Christ. Where is this? I don't know. I know I shared this. Oh, there it is. Guys, you can't hold a good cliff down. Okay. Let's see what we can do about this. Let's see. Share screen. That would probably be a good one to do. Oh, we have it. But we need is there volume going on? Here, I'll go play it on the page, guys, and hopefully that will. No. There we go. We have to watch it one more time for fun because it's too good. So let's do that one more time. And then we will call this episode.
别担心，他没事。
I know what to say. If you can't appreciate that, we can't be friends. That's it. Tequila. It's been a good night, good conversation, except for talking about Joe's bowels. Vote intelligently, folks. We kind of need to win the Senate back and need to win the House as big as possible, as we said. So reach out to everybody you know. Let them know that Trump is destroying our economy and likes to go to more wars and is corrupt as shit and is trying to cheat in our elections and is an adjudicated rapist and is a 34-time felon and he's a traitor and everything else. And that these people have all propped him up and supported him and they're so corrupt that it is hurting all of us. And make sure that we go out and we vote for the best Democrats possible and then vote for Democrats in November because this could be our last shot at this thing we call democracy. So that's it. I have to say, been good. Good night. Tequila, remember? It's cheaper than therapy. And we'll go off and have a little more as I watch something. The Capture, guys. If you don't watch The Capture, which is from the BBC on deep fakes and correction, as they call it, and AI and how it's messed with politics, national security, and everything. I couldn't recommend the show more. I've got one more episode of this season to go watch. So I'm gonna go have a little tequila. Hey, look, Jim, thank you. Lamp.co. You should subscribe to the videos if you want. I share myself and David Schuster and Ellie Leonard and Lawrence Winterin and guest posters who are brilliant and shows with people like Joe Walsh. 2, you should do it and get the paid version because our things are paid folks. That way because, hey, we have to make a living, we want to bring in the funds to keep fighting for democracy. And the third reason you should subscribe right now is I brought up defiance.org earlier. If you're subscribed to us, then you can go get 3 free months at defiance.org and of their paid version. And that's huge because they are probably the best that I've seen right now in terms of organizing people like DAs and AGs and other people to, folks to shut down on the corporate side to not lend aid to those that are building ICE concentration camps. And I mean, just their work's amazing. And 3 free months, it's a good thing. You just have to be subscribed to us. You can go take care of that. So that's it. Been a fun night. And, as they say, as the sun sets slowly in the west,